These are 10 episodes that proved Carter is the most evil character on Family Guy, starting with the time he nearly killed Stewie by falling asleep at the wheel in Grumpy Old Man. So Stewie gets to spend the day with his grandpa Carter.
Well, Grandpa's here.
Oh God, it's the song again.
He's no Sinatra, but he probably smells just like him. Cigars and money. So Stewie and his grandparents enjoy a drive while listening to radio static, but Carter's driving starts to get a little erratic.
Whoa, what you driving? Is he sleeping?
Well, obviously. There's no better nap than the one that happens behind the wheel of a big metal death machine.
Yo, lady, wake him up!
Sorry, Stewie, but they aren't on the list of people who can understand you. Always consult the list first.
What happened?
Where are my knitting needles?
Don't worry, Stewie's holding on to those for you. So after that little incident, Carter can't be trusted to drive anymore.
I'm gonna have to revoke your driver's license.
What?
It's either that or go to jail for child endangerment. Your move, Pewterschmidt.
Carter, you work too much as it is. You're not a young man anymore. You need to slow down.
Hard to do with multiple $1 million companies under your watch. Like it or not, Pewds might need to retire. I call him Pewds, we're tight like that. And retirement means more time to spend with the family.
Oh.
Now don't all fight for Grandpa's attention at once. But if he's gonna be retired, it may be time to send him down the river to be with his own kind.
We actually brought you a few brochures of some lovely retirement communities in Florida.
Ah yes, Florida. The old person's paradise, despite it being very hot, very muggy, and prone to getting slapped around by hurricanes every year. Cool alligators though.
All right, we're moving to Florida.
Oh, Carter, this is wonderful.
Even though this is just your kids trying to get you out of their hair. It's gonna happen to us one day. But when they go to check out one of the homes, Carter isn't willing to accept his age just yet.
There's no way in hell I'm gonna live here. This place is nothing but old people marching to their deaths.
More like mobility scootering to their deaths, but I get your point. But with an in-law free life at stake, Peter does his best to try and convince Carter that retirement is where it's at.
I'll make a deal with you. You give me just one day to show you how great retired life can be for an old fella.
But it turns out that all he really needed to see was the wonders and magic of playing with the thermostat.
Oh, that's perfect. Now I'm cold.
Crank up the thermostat.
Ah, wonderful.
The elderly truly are fascinating creatures. Peter's words work, and 6 months later, the Pewterschmidts are still kicking back in Florida.
We're going to Florida.
Why? What happened?
There's something horribly wrong with your grandpa.
What, does he need someone to explain how to change the TV input again?
Cream of wheat. Jeopardy.
Oh, so he's just regressed to his actual age. I guess when you cut the hostile business takeovers out of your life, your body really starts to slow down.
Oh, God, we should never have brought him here.
You're right, dear. I can't stand to see him like this.
I know just the fix. There we go. He seems much happier now. But in order to revitalize him, he needs to be placed back in his element.
And from now on, it's against the rules to pat female employees on the f***ing.
I like touching butts.
Eventually, the threat of these corporate changes finally wakes Carter up.
I plan on sitting behind this desk until the day I die.
And once he does, the desk can be converted into a coffin. Just because he's rich doesn't mean he can't be frugal. But money couldn't buy his way back into his favorite country club once he got kicked out, leading him to physically abuse Peter to earn his spot back in no country club for old men. So while flying back home, Chris hits it off with a girl named Amanda on his flight.
You look nice, so I'll blow my burps the other way.
What a gentleman, and what low standards she must have. And once they land, they decide to stay in touch, with Amanda inviting the family to meet her grandparents at a fancy country club.
Oh my God, Chris is dating a Barrington.
Who happens to be the richest family in Quahog. They can't be too rich though if she was stuck flying economy with the rest of the commoners.
I still can't believe Chris is dating a Barrington. They own this whole club.
But not everyone is happy the Griffins are here, particularly the club's bully, Carter.
We're gonna pee on you.
In 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna be so embarrassed, Peter.
We're here to have brunch with the Barringtons.
The Barringtons? How is that possible?
It's a little something called networking, Carter, or more specifically, being forced to sit by the human fart bubble known as Chris and somehow developing a crush on him. But Carter hopes to take advantage of this pairing.
Hey, there's all my favorite people.
Oh no, not this suck-up.
Carter is further proof that money can buy you a lot of things, but the admiration of others isn't always one of them.
I've been trying to get into Reginald Barrington's inner circle for years. They've been the most elite family in this country ever since it was founded.
Yeah, but you brown-nosing Reginald's inner circle is not a good look for you. If your lower middle-class family is embarrassed by you, you know you've really screwed up.
That is it! You are officially kicked out of this club. What? Griffin, We just had an opening.
Don't worry, Carter, you can still hang out at the club as Peter's guest.
Hey guys, I just bumped into Carter Pewterschmidt outside. What a loser, huh?
Oh yeah, this has got to be caviar levels of rich for Peter. But without the country club, Carter has nothing other than billions of dollars, a mansion, multiple companies, and anything he could ever want. So yeah, basically nothing.
Is there anything you can do to get me back in the club?
Well, I suppose I could talk to Barrington.
But Reginald finds Carter too insufferable to allow him back in the club. Fair enough, he's probably the most classless of all these classy stuffed shirts.
Look, Mr. Barrington, he's my father-in-law. So if he goes, I go.
Fine, I don't care.
Yeah, that's not that surprising. Peter's net worth of a bag of chips is probably cramping the club's style anyway. But they aren't done with the club yet and hatch a plan to get back at Reginald.
We just gotta figure out a way to make you fancy it in Barrington, so he's gotta suck up to you.
I don't know how you're gonna do that. That guy looks like he has old world, deep state money. Like, hire a hitman and make it look like an accident kind of money. But I guess a chopper with a yacht with a limo with a smaller helicopter entrance will have to do.
The exceedingly wealthy and very important Viscount James Earl tennis racket and Duke of Lacrosse team.
My guess is they came up with those names after walking by Dick's Sporting Goods. But their wealthy disguises seem to work as Reginald admits them into the club.
Your Majesty, won't you please join me as my personal guest in the Barrington room?
Hopefully that's just a cool lounge and not some eyes wide shut kind of weirdness. I know how you rich people are. Once inside, they use their disguises to put in a good word for Carter.
Well, I wasn't sure about Pewterschmidt, but after hearing you gentlemen talk, maybe I could give him another chance.
Mission accomplished. Why did they think this was going to be hard again?
Oh, wow, that's great news, Carter. You're back in.
Oh yeah, that's why. So with their cover blown, Carter lets out his frustrations on his son-in-law.
Damn it, Peter, you blew it! I knew I couldn't depend on you!
But hey, the way Carter abused someone lower than him sat just right with Reginald. It's just the right condescending tone that makes him perfect for the club.
You are back in the club!
Oh, thank you, Mr. Barrington!
And with Peter kicked to the curb, Carter continues his streak of being one of the most vile characters in Family Guy. A streak he would continue as he worked to make hemp illegal to ruin everyone's good time once he started losing a little bit of money in 420. So Peter and Brian are out for a casual drink and blood-covered drive when they're pulled over by cops.
Well, that all seems fine. Sorry to bother you, sir.
Stellar work, boys. You've earned yourself a donut and an afternoon sitting by the highway with a speed gun. But Brian has to go and ruin everything.
Pot! Small amount of pot! You're under arrest, dirtbag!
That's on Brian for not having pockets. Or pants in general. No one wants to see that undercarriage of yours all the time, Bri. Luckily, Brian's bailed out quickly, but is now subject to random checkups.
I need some urine. You mean right now? Yes, right now.
Uh-oh, you're in trouble now, Brian. Don't get too peeved off. It's probably more talk about urine today than you were expecting, huh?
Stewie, I need your urine.
Really?
You have no idea how long Stewie's been waiting for Brian to say that. But when Lois catches him, Brian decides it's time to stop hiding and fight for his right to toke up.
It's time for Quahog to legalize marijuana.
Unfortunately, the last person people want to hear political reform from is a dog.
If you want to win people over, you can't just drone on like Ben Stein. You've got to have a little more showmanship.
So Stewie and Brian break into a song about the wonders of Mary Jane, which does get the people's attention. See, this is why I want every presidential election to involve a rap battle instead of a debate. It's what the people want.
Because everything is better with a bang!
And once it's legalized, Quahog becomes the chillest place on the East Coast.
How's the weather look, Ollie?
Not too bad.
Right on.
Everyone's having fun, which means it's time for the rich to come in and ruin everything.
Hello, Griffin.
Mr. Pewterschmidt? Hey, how you been?
Not good.
Well, have you tried the funny little grass that just got legalized? Seems to be solving everyone's problems. Or at least it's making them too zooted to remember their problems.
People are using hemp for everything. Fabric, fuel, and paper. Which means I'm losing billions in timber dollars.
Wow, it really must be the miracle plant. But instead of adapting to the times, Carter wants everything to go back to the way it was.
Now I have to get hemp illegalized again, and the only way to do that is to start a fear campaign designed to turn people against pot.
So Peter's convinced to help Carter drum up some propaganda.
As you can see, I'm enjoying a White Castle burger. Why? Because I don't do drugs.
So don't smoke and you'll get to enjoy like the 20th best fast food joint? Not sure your message is quite strong enough. So Carter instead decides to go to the source of the substance's support, Brian.
What's this? It's your novel, Brian. Faster than the speed of love. Ready to ship out tomorrow.
That's only if Brian agrees to help get hemp legalized again. The offer is tempting enough to throw away all your pride and morals though, huh?
And what's this? Is this an Oprah Book Club sticker? I think it is.
But is it worth turning his back on a cause he feels strongly about? Surely his writing is strong enough to find success on its own, right?
Maybe do a song about why pot is bad.
And that's why pot is bad!
Well, Carter wins in the end, but at least Brian can be a superstar author now.
Faster Than the Speed of Love has astonishingly not sold a single copy.
Well, that's what happens when you make a deal with the devil. There's always a catch, and Carter would make another devilish deal with Peter when he agreed to represent him in court after he shot Cleveland Jr. in a shot in the dark. So Peter's enjoying all the luxuries having a couch on the front lawn has to offer. Unfortunately, he also has to deal with the consequences of having a couch on the front lawn.
It's gone!
What? What's gone?
A drinking couch! Somebody must have stole it!
To be fair, it's a universal sign that if furniture's left on the front lawn, it's up for grabs. You can do that with a lot of stuff. Bikes, mail, other people's pets. If it's on the lawn, you can take it.
I was thinking we lived in a safe neighborhood, but apparently I was wrong.
To rectify this, Peter decides to start a neighborhood watch, which mostly entails shining flashlights at people's houses and carrying a gun on your waistband.
Lois, you wouldn't believe the things we see out there. There was a kid riding his bike while holding a tennis racket.
Are you kidding? Get that information to the FBI already. But while on patrol one night, Peter thinks he comes across someone breaking into Cleveland's house.
I'm warning you! Hands where I can see them!
Well, looks like he just capped a cat burglar. There's just one problem. The suspect lives here.
Cleveland Jr.?
Mr. Griffin, you shot me!
Oh my God!
And this act causes a rift in Peter and Cleveland's friendship as the latter believes he acted on prejudice.
You wouldn't have fired that gun if he was white.
That's not true. I'll shoot anybody.
Now that is true. Peter isn't a racist, he's just a psychopath. Okay, he might be a little racist too.
I love all people. I love blacks, I love Asians, hell, I even love gay aborigines.
You run into a lot of that last one in Quahog, Peter. I guess he's just gonna have to convince the town he's not who they think he is.
I am gonna go to the middle of the town square, get naked, and paint myself brown.
Oh yeah, he's doomed. At least Lois has the only reasonable response to that idea.
I'm so sick of your crap. Why do you always do these stupid things?
And just like that, Lois has shared more of her feelings in a way couples therapy wouldn't allow. I'm not saying she should do this monthly or anything, maybe weekly. And after a peace offering of Peter's turns into full-blown arson, Peter's identity as the town bigot is sealed.
Get your family out of that house! If they don't leave, they'll die! Round up your family and get out or you're all gonna be sorry!
It takes a real superpower to say well-meaning things in the absolute worst way possible. And after some public outcry, Peter's arrested for the attempted murder of Cleveland Jr. But trying to burn down their house is fine, I guess.
Griffin, you have a visitor?
Carter, what are you doing here?
He's actually here to help Peter in court, but don't think this is just out of the goodness of his heart.
I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit back and let them do this to one of my own.
What, you mean your family?
Huh?
No further explanation needed, Carter. We hear you loud and clear. On the day of the trial, Carter's people do everything they can to discredit Cleveland Jr.'s character.
Mr. Brown, please pick up this knife. Ah! He's got a knife!
Oh, everyone just bought into that?
He's making Cleveland Jr. look like a thug.
I know, that's the idea.
But when public ridicule gets directed at Cleveland Jr., Peter defies Carter to make things right.
He's a good kid from a good family. I just got scared and I did something stupid.
When Cleveland sees Peter's willingness to take accountability, they put the past behind them and become friends again. Carter's old-timey racism is defeated for now, but he'll be back. He always comes back. But his anti-Semitism turned out to be the only way to talk him out of ruining the Christmas carnival for everyone else in Christmas Guy. So it's Christmas in Quahog, and Lois wants to take Stewie to the carnival.
I love the Christmas carnival!
Not entirely sure, but I think Chris is excited about it too. He must be injecting the Christmas spirit straight into his veins this year. But when the family arrives at the mall, it seems to be lacking in both holly and jolly.
And what the hell? Where's all the decorations? And a big Christmas tree?
This must be the doing of the Grinch. First he paralyzed Joe, and now he's come back to Quahog to finish what he started.
No Christmas carnival! Whoever's responsible for this shall suffer my eternal wrath.
I want to believe you, but if someone told me that while they were dressed like a Keebler elf, I would probably have my doubts.
Where is the Christmas carnival?
Canceled. I don't know why.
But never fear, everyone's favorite 2-episode main character Vinny is on the case.
The carnival was canceled by the mall's owner, some guy named Pewterschmidt.
Well, whoever that is gonna get a piece of Peter's mind for spoiling the holiday.
Why did you cancel a Christmas carnival?
Because I hate Christmas. You know what it's like being rich at Christmas, Griffin?
Peter wears the same exact outfit every day. You know he doesn't know what it's like. But Carter explains that he hates the holiday because everyone expects big gifts from him, yet he gets nothing in return.
You know what? I am gonna help you find the Christmas spirit so you bring back the carnival.
Well, I just wouldn't let him keep it if you do find it. He'll probably find a way to sell it as a subscription service for $14.99 a month.
Are you sure about this, Peter? I mean, I know Stewie was disappointed about the carnival, but he'll get over it.
In fact, he's in the background getting over it right now. Can't be mad at Christmas if you've nuked the holiday off the face of the earth.
Well, you have your work cut out for you, Peter. My father's always hated Christmas.
So what kind of festive ideas does Peter have up his sleeve?
You know what's guaranteed to put you in the holiday mood? Write a Christmas letter to all your friends and relatives.
Well, that would assume that you have friends or relatives you don't hate in the first place. I kind of feel like Carter's batting 0 for 2 in that realm. But what does Carter have to share about his year?
Lois's father, Carter Pewterschmidt, bought a small stool for his balls. Damn it, I'm not proud of that!
Okay, how about they try another staple of the season? Eggnog.
I don't like eggnog.
Drink the nog, Carter.
I don't wanna.
Take it, Carter. Take all the nog.
And suddenly this has become one of those videos you send your friends to gross them out. If this is what the season is all about, then yeah, I'm with Carter. Christmas sucks.
You know, I still don't like Christmas, but I kinda like what we just did.
Hey, now I know what you can get for Christmas. A therapy session. Any more bright ideas, Peter?
A big part of Christmas is masturbating like you would any other day, but feeling guilty about it because it's Christmas.
So, no. The answer to that previous question is no.
I'm not getting the holiday spirit, so you can stop trying.
Yeah, Peter's attempts to get Carter to understand the meaning of Christmas kind of feel like he's killing the holiday for me at the same time.
Wow, Carter. I had no idea you were Jewish.
What? Is that how this is coming off?
And just like that, Carter finds it within himself to bring the Christmas carnival back. It turns out joy and cheer isn't the way to his heart, it's his blatant anti-Semitism. I'm sure your buddy Jesus would be very proud of you. And I'm not sure Jesus would have approved of Carter's use of the Tea Party to abolish Quahog's government so his businesses could finally be unregulated in the episode Tea Party. So Peter and Quagmire are hanging out at the Clam, complaining about what men their age usually complain about.
Freaking government, giving all the good hoses to firemen. I want them hoses.
That's right, it's a political episode. Fire up those think pieces now. But Peter's informed of a way to fight government overreach.
The Tea Party has gained a sizable following based on their message of low taxes, limited government.
Well, Peter doesn't care much for tea, but he does love parties, so he decides to join.
Finally, I'm part of a movement of regular people trying to take back our government.
Brian thinks the movement is just a ploy created so big businesses can take advantage of working class people, but come on, look at that hat. That's a hat of truth and honor right there. So Peter decides to check out one of the rallies.
Our Quahog chapter spokesman, Joe Workingman!
Well, that's the bluest blue-collar name I've ever heard, so he must be legit.
The government wants to tell you how many children you can have.
What? No!
A party of only the most upstanding citizens, I see. But of course, the cover's blown pretty quickly.
Carter?
Oh, hey.
You're involved with the Tea Party?
I guess Brian was right after all. Let me add that to the list of things that pains me to say.
The truth is, I could actually use a regular guy like you to help get our message out.
But the family has some doubts about Carter's true intentions.
Carter wants to get rid of the whole city government of Quahog.
It'll be just like the Wild West again. Whiskey for a nickel, disagreements solved with a shootout at high noon, and a spit bucket always available to hawk a loogie into. Just as the founding fathers intended. And with enough rallying and marching, Peter actually succeeds.
I hereby declare Quahog City government disbanded.
But while no law, order, or infrastructure sounds fun, it also, unsurprisingly, leads to a lot of harm.
Where's all that smoke coming from?
The Pewterschmidt Industries refinery. And it's not smoke. It's a giant cloud of pollution.
As a clam who lives in the ocean, let me tell you, that pollution thing is not as good as it sounds. Mostly because it doesn't sound good at all.
Then it's up to us, the people, to find a solution. Close the curtains.
Problem solved. Who needs the government anyway?
The cops don't come, the toilets don't flush, and there's garbage piling up in the streets.
So, upon reflection, I guess we do kind of need the government.
There might be a way out of this.
What?
We just talked to the guy who got us into this. He'll know what to do.
You mean the guy directly benefiting from all this anarchy? Yeah, I'm sure he'll be open to changing things. But it doesn't look like Carter will be much help.
Go to hell!
I don't think he's gonna help, Peter.
But if rich people aren't looking out for us, who is?
My guess is aliens, but that's a conversation for another day. So Peter speaks to the community about his brand new idea to surpass the government.
I think that we should elect some people to represent us, and they should make rules and choices on our behalf.
What a bold, unique idea that's never been done before. Even though Carter's barely in this episode, the ripple effects of his political meddling are definitely felt, harming the common man while he benefits. How unlike our own world. But Carter would step into a new type of world in Africa where he ends up tearing down a thriving village built with his money and scammed Yankees. So Carter and Peter are spending the day together, and boy, are they having a blast.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
This was not what I was thinking.
That's weird. It's not what I was thinking either.
Yeah, it's a little early for the need-a-knee bath with my in-law, isn't it? That's more of an evening activity.
Now what do you want to do?
Well, we could watch porn.
The natural progression of sitting naked in the tub with your father-in-law. Man, you guys are making all the big moves today.
But there's other stuff on there. You want to see a guy in a human-sized hamster ball roll off a mountain?
Yeah.
So thankfully, they just watch funny internet videos, but when Carter checks his email, he notices a new message from a Nigerian prince.
All he needs is $100 grand to pay legal fees, and then as soon as he gets his money, I get $1 million.
Believe it or not, this is one of the oldest email scams, dating all the way back to the early years of the internet. And people actually fell for it. But Carter and Peter are too smart for that, right?
You gotta send that money.
You think so?
Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine if you make $1 million?
Mind you, $1 million for a billionaire is like the equivalent of $10 for you and me. But the guys just can't wait to tell the ladies about their victory.
Oh, Peter, don't tell me you two fell for that scam.
Oh, they did more than fall for it. They did a somersault and crash landed right on their face into it.
I am going to Africa and get my money back, and you're coming with me.
And so they do just that. Wow, I can't believe they made Africa a real country after the Lion King.
Oh my God, look over there.
Oh, that's just a warlord forming a child militia. Carter's probably taking notes for when he gets back home. And following them brings them to a small African village.
All right, let's find our prince and get my money back.
Well, Africa was fun for the first 5 minutes, but it turns out they may have more pull in this country than they thought.
You are Carter Pewterschmidt?
You're damn right I am.
Oh, it's him. It's the great Father Pewterschmidt.
That's a hell of a title. You think I could get that on my driver's license? The Great Father Clam, or the Great Father Sweaty. Ugh, that one feels wrong.
It is with the money that you sent that we have been able to make many wonderful improvements to our village.
So Carter managed to hook them up with a school, clean drinking water, and a hospital. Surely that should warm his icy black heart.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it, because I'm taking it all back.
What?
You heard me.
They did steal from him, but it was only $100,000. Again, that's like if you only had $100 and someone stole a penny from you.
Tear it all down, now!
So the village does just that, but Peter isn't having any of it.
No, Carter, I can't let you do this. I won't stand by and let you further ruin this terrible place.
I'm with Peter, but maybe it isn't the best idea to insult the guy with enough money to achieve God status here.
Here's $5,000. Lock up that fat ass.
But luckily, word of Peter's imprisonment makes its way back to Lois.
For God's sake.
Yeah, that's about the reaction I was expecting. One casual flight to Africa later, Lois confronts her father.
Look, I'm sorry you got swindled, but you can't treat people this way.
Not only does she convince him to rebuild the village, but she also prevents him from having Peter taken out by the firing squad. And you just know he's really been wanting to do that for years.
I'm sorry I almost had you shot.
Oh, that's all right. I got a fever of 108. I'm not going to remember any of this.
But we will. If there's one lesson to learn from this, it's that it's always ethical to steal from a billionaire. Just don't quote me on that. But reporter Tricia would try to get a quote from Carter to expose his plan to use poisonous materials in the making of his beer cans, while also seducing Carter in the process and Carter and Tricia. So Peter learns that Carter has bought Pawtucket Patriot Brewery.
Now what's that?
It's where you work, Peter.
How long do you think this show has to go on before Peter loses all of the few brain cells left in his head? But hey, now Peter gets to work for his father-in-law. Every son-in-law's worst nightmare.
Griffin, what are you doing here?
I work here.
You do? No way!
Something tells me that excitement is a little less happy to be working with his daughter's husband and more I'm gonna torture the crap out of this guy.
I've decided that as your new boss, I'm gonna require you to have a standing desk.
Not exactly a punishment for most people, but this is absolute torture for Peter's knees. But as Peter's leaving work, he overhears Carter talking about doing something highly illegal.
I want our beer cans made from the cheapest material possible.
But how are you gonna make a beer can out of Jim Gaffigan's stand-up? That's right, I went there. I've seen your joke about enjoying clam juice. I'm on to you, buddy. So Peter decides to go to Tricia with his newfound knowledge.
Mr. Griffin, it sounds like you've brought me an interesting story.
A Carter and Tricia pairing kinda sounds like the writers put a few names in a hat and drew two characters at random. So Tricia goes straight to Carter to confront him, but he's more concerned with the snack in front of him than the story.
God, you're gorgeous.
Mr. Pewterschmidt, I remind you, this is on the record.
Yeah, but it sounds like he wants to take this off the record and put it on the bed, if you catch my drift. So Carter decides to stop by the Griffin house with the important news.
Lois, everyone, I've left your mother, and Tricia Takanawa is moving in with me.
Ah, young love. It moves so fast. But knowing Carter, this has got to be like the 5th or 6th time he's done something like this, right?
What about Mom? Where is Mom?
The sanitarium.
The sanitarium?
With a name like that, you'd think it'd be a nice and clean place, but a quick Google search has told me otherwise. And back at his estate, Carter has really gone in on the Japanese aesthetic.
Food's on the table, and if anyone needs some dirty underpants, the vending machine's right over there.
If you don't know what he's referring to, I would probably just keep it that way. Continue to live in ignorant bliss, little ones.
The truth is, all I ever wanted was to someday have a family of my own.
Good a reason as any to shack up with a sugar daddy, I suppose. No shame in getting your bag any way you can. Later at night, Tricia and Carter decide to get kinky.
I love it when a man confesses to manufacturing improprieties.
Not the most conventional kind of roleplay, but whatever, I'm down to see where this goes. So Carter admits to wanting to use unsafe materials to make his beer cans.
And there you have it, Channel 5 News audience.
Now that's some undercover reporting. Tricia is truly one of the best in the game. Tom Tucker would have never slept with Carter to get this info.
I thought we were in love!
I only let you think that. I'm sorry, it's time for me to go.
Tricia's expose earns her a local Emmy nomination, so Carter and Peter decide to crash the celebration by spiking her drink.
It'll make her instantly triple herself. But tripling is when you vomit, defecate, and orgasm.
Yet another incredible innovation in modern medicine. They manage to get that stuff in her drink, but Peter has second thoughts after seeing how her mother treats her.
You know what for Channel 10? Just Channel 5. Only half as good.
Yeah, not sure that's how that works, Mrs. Dated Stereotype. Not wanting to ruin her big night, Peter takes one for the team.
No!
10 out of 10 form there, Peter. Though knocking it out of her hand was probably the smarter move. Carter hardly learns his lesson here, and the episode ends with no clue as to what happened to Babs.
Hey, whatever happened with Grandma?
Yeah, that's what everybody was thinking about, Meg. Trust me, she'll come back if we need her.
But that isn't the only time Carter kicked Babs to the curb, as he also cheated on her with another woman and tried to get Peter to keep it a secret and welcome back Carter. So Peter and Lois are over at the Pewterschmidt estate, but Carter is suspiciously nowhere to be found.
I'm so sorry about your father keeping us. He's probably down at the dock tinkering with that darn yacht of his.
Is that actually what he's doing, or is that some kinda rich guy innuendo? To pass the time, Babs recalls the day she and Carter first met, and it's just as romantic as you're probably thinking.
You dumb bitch!
And after a traditional 1920s greeting involving the back of a hand, the two's love begins to flourish.
It was the happiest time of our lives. Unfortunately, that was the year the Great War with Alaska broke out.
Ah yes, who could forget that very real thing? But when Carter's shipped off to war and is presumed dead by Babs, she finds another lover.
So I took up with a young dandy named Reginald.
And that is the dandiest dandy I've ever done dandied. But their relationship would not last long, as Carter would return from war.
I've missed you so!
Babs! Be my wife!
How about a please? But as we know, the rest is history. Oh yeah, and where is that passionate lover of Babs?
Oh my God! Mr. Pewterschmidt, you're having an affair? Ew!
Well, hold on, this could just be one of those naked in bed business meetings I've heard so much about.
You didn't see anything. Remember that, or I'll ruin you.
So forget what he saw, but remember what he'll do to you if you don't forget. Man, blackmail's confusing. Peter tries to play it cool, but you try acting level-headed after witnessing that horror show.
And Peter.
Well, at least he got his name right. But Peter decides to consult with his friends on how he should handle this situation.
Lois's dad is loaded. You could probably get him to pay through the nose to keep your mouth shut.
Personally, I'd rather have someone pay through their wallet than their nose, but Quagmire may be onto something. So Peter decides to pay Carter a little visit.
Get the hell out of there, you son of a bitch!
Oh no, you don't get to talk to me like that anymore.
So if Carter wants us to stay between them, he's gonna have to start doing what Peter says. And his requests are obviously just as dumb as you would expect.
All right, here's your Mike and Ike's with all the Ikes taken out.
Isn't it screwed up how the names of the creators of this candy aren't Mike or Ike? They really should be arrested for that. But it isn't Carter breaking under the pressure that brings the truth to light, it's Peter being unable to keep his dumb mouth shut.
And he's not just saying that because I covered for him about his affair. What?
Obviously, Babs now wants a divorce. So instead of trying to win her back, Peter suggests Carter enjoys being single again.
I'll help you meet some women, Mr. Pewterschmidt.
Oh yeah, because the ladies just can't keep their hands off Peter. Unfortunately, Carter doesn't know how to talk to women without a little bit of that racism rearing its ugly head.
Hey boy, fetch me a John Barrymore and soda and 3 Myrna Loys for the women.
You gotta understand, he's from a different time. One of the worst times in the world, actually. Probably made worse by people like him.
I don't want women like that. I want Babs.
Oh, the woman you cheated on? Sorry, that yacht might have sailed, buddy. Especially considering she seems to be courting that dandy from all those years ago.
Oh, Babs, I don't wish to overwhelm you with my passions, but I must say this. I'm ever so content.
Easy now, let's keep it PG, buddy. But Carter arrives to try to win Babs back.
I kneel before you, a frightened soul and a broken man. A man who has nothing without you.
And he doesn't just kneel for anyone, mostly because I think it tears every ligament in his knee when he does.
I suppose I can give you the chance to earn my trust again.
Maybe it's true love, maybe it's just being complacent in their old age, but they're back together. How not heartwarming in the slightest. But if you want to see just how evil Carter can be, look no further than the time he discovered the cure for cancer and refused to share it with the world so he could make more money in The Old Man in the Big C. While at the hospital, Brian overhears Carter receiving a cancer diagnosis.
If you're lucky, you've got 2 weeks to live.
I understand.
And he seems relatively okay with the news? I don't know, for someone who's always looked out for himself first, I would expect him to be fighting back on this. So Brian tells Stewie about what he saw.
And the worst part is, I don't think Lois even knows he's sick.
Oh, this is going to destroy her!
Good to see he's inherited his family's disregard for others. A gene no doubt passed down by Carter himself. Regardless, Brian breaks the news to Lois.
I think your father is dying.
What?
Ha!
That'll be a good one to frame above the mantle. In disbelief, Lois decides to drive the family to the Pewterschmidt home to see for themselves.
Is Daddy okay? Where is he?
Oh, he's fine, dear. But now's not a good time. He's very busy.
Well, is he getting busy living or getting busy dying? The Shawshank Redemption taught me those are the only two options.
Daddy?
Well, look who's here!
Daddy! You're okay!
And somehow he isn't looking like a raisin that was locked in the basement like before. So what is it? Body double, twin brother, a new skincare routine?
What the hell's going on? Last night Carter was on his deathbed and now he looks better than he ever did.
Growing suspicious, Brian plans to find out if the man they saw today is actually Carter.
What are you suggesting? We can follow him, see if he's really Carter.
Oh yeah, billionaires are notoriously easy to follow and get close to. But they managed to tail him on his usual routine at Starbucks.
I'm stealing all your sugar packets and napkins! Woodstock's over!
But they managed to find a bit more info at Pewterschmidt Industries.
You certainly look a lot better than that walking corpse I saw last week.
Well, no one's ever gonna see that again.
Now, he could just be talking about a zombie costume he had that totally bombed at the office party.
And I assure you that Specimen Z is secure on level 12.
You know there are people standing behind you, right? Might want to be a bit more tight-lipped with your dark secrets, my guy. So Brian and Stewie decide to check out level 12 for more clues and end up finding their answer.
Specimen Z isn't Carter's body. What is it? Specimen Z is a cure for cancer.
Is that less crazy than a body double? I'm not sure, but I am sure Carter probably wants to keep this under wraps.
Why cure someone of cancer in a day if we can treat them for a lifetime and bill them every step along the way?
Because you'd be a hero instead of a heartless ghoul? But heroes don't make money, I guess.
Carter, what you're doing here is criminal, and I'm gonna tell the whole world about it.
And by the whole world, he probably means his 5 Instagram followers. But nothing helps your crazy conspiracy like a little bit of evidence.
Oh my god, Stewie, you got the cancer cure!
The next rich guy trying to cure himself is going to be so surprised when he ends up injecting himself with Mountain Dew. But Carter manages to catch Brian back at home, so he decides to blow the lid off the whole thing.
Your father has a cure for cancer, but he won't release it because it's not profitable.
Yeah, you're no Alexander Fleming, Carter. That guy will go down as someone people say they know, but then you catch them secretly Googling them a moment later.
What if I got cancer, or God forbid, one of your grandchildren? For once in your life, do the right thing.
After way more pressure than it should have taken, Carter agrees to release the cure, only to back out on it the next day. Now, how is that possible?
I lied.
I guess we can't be too surprised. Carter needs to lie like the rest of us need to breathe, constantly, or he'll die. What's the next most important thing you need other than oxygen? To subscribe to the Sweaty Clam channel so you can make sure you don't miss out when we upload new Family Guy videos every week.